the classification of inventory, we provide much more easier to organization and company to decide how should the item be planned and controlled to get the efficient and effective inventory management. Okay, so kita tinggalkan dulu ABC analysis di sini. Kita sambung balik slide kita yang sebelum ni. Okay. Kat mana kita tadi? Okay, back to our slide. Okay. So the next slide discuss about two major inventory system for two major approach or technique that use in controlling the inventory, which is continuous and versus periodic review system. Where is the continuous system or fixed order quantity have a constant amount order when inventory decline to predetermined level. So the continuous system or fixed order quantity, we can find this system in the economic order quantity model. In the economic order quantity model. And the second system is periodic review system have a fixed time period. So the order will be placed for variable amount after a fixed space of time. So we need to decide when what is the interval time for the reorder process under the periodic review system. So one of the technique under the periodic system is periodic review POQ, periodic order quantity. Periodic order quantity model is one of the technique that under the periodic system, which have a fixed time interval of reorder of inventory. So to conclude that, in the inventory operation strategy, if we have too much inventory, so this huge amount of inventory tend to hide a problem in the organization. So of course, it's easier to live with a problem than to eliminate them. So, and too much inventory also, we have a high cost to maintain the inventory. So the good strategy is to reduce the lot size and to reduce the safety stock by having a better inventory control approach and technique. So in the inventory performance measure, among the component of performance measure include inventory level, which is low or high, and customer service level, when we can assess based on the customer feedback on the right goods, right place, right time, and right quantity. And also based on the inventory turnover, cost of goods sold per year, average inventory investment, inventory turnover, we can found in the financial statement, the yearly financial statement of the company. And also, to see the inventory performance, we can review on the inventory cost, especially for the cost of ordering and carrying inventory. So, in order to have a good performance result, we need to decide what is the order size and what is the right time to do the order process. Okay, pressure for low inventory. Inventory holding cost is the sum of the cost of capital and the variable cost of keeping item on hand, such as storage, handling, taxes, insurance, and shrinkage. So, kita tahu di sini, bila kita mempunyai inventory, kita terpaksa menanggung capital cost, kos modal yang tinggi, kan? Kos modal yang tinggi. Dan juga kita terpaksa juga menanggung kos-kos berubah. Kos-kos berubah berkaitan dengan penyimpanan inventory. Iaitu kos mengurus inventory tersebut, kos penyimpanan, kan? Percukaian, insurans, kan? Dan susut nilai pada inventory tersebut. Jadi, kita perlu ambil kira kos-kos yang terlibat di dalam apabila kita mempunyai inventory. Sebab tu setengah organisasi cuba untuk mengurangkan jumlah inventory yang ada di dalam organisasi mereka. Baik. Namun begitu, pada masa yang sama, organisasi juga memerlukan sejumlah inventory, kan? Sejumlah inventory, terutamanya untuk meningkatkan customer service. Okay, some organization also have a pressure to have a high inventory, especially to increase their customer service level. To increase their customer service level. When the customer service level increase, it will contribute to reduce the potential of stock out and back order from customer for the order fulfillment of the customer. And also for ordering cost will be decreased. The cost of preparing a purchase order for supplier or production order for the shop. So if we have a high inventory, the frequency of ordering process will be low. So directly, the ordering cost also will be low. And same as the setup cost, the cost involved in changing over a machine to produce a different item. If we have a high inventory, the repetitive process of machine setup will be low and directly we decrease the setup cost. Labor equipment, where we creating a more inventory, can increase workforce productivity and facility utilization. So, if we have a why we need to have high inventory? In the same situation, we need to increase our productivity of our workers. Productivity of workers. And also to increase the utilization of our other resource like machine, equipment. So this will be a pressure for the company to have high inventory. Transportation cost can be reduced if we order in large quantity of inventory. So based on the uh, large volume of quantity order, we can gain the economy of scale in transporting our inventory to the specific location. And also, we have a quantity discount, a drop in the price per item when an order is sufficiently large. So some organization try to get the quantity discount and they need to buy in large volume of quantity from their supplier. Okay. Okay, that's all for the topic of introduction to inventory management. So, in our discussion on introduction to inventory management, we already discussed about the definition of inventory management, which consists of planning and controlling of the inventory. And also we knew that the meaning of the controlling inventory is to ensure the right amount, the right quantity, the right amount or the right quantity at the right place. So we need to ensure the inventory always at the right quantity and at the right time or the right place. So that is the meaning of the inventory control. And we also discussed about the um, advantage and disadvantage of having inventory. We knew that some organization try to minimize their inventory level so that they can reduce the cost. And some organization also try to have uh, the right quantity to ensure their customer service level achieve or satisfy their uh, customer needs. And also, we also have discussed about the classification of inventory based on the process stage, based on the volume and quantity, which is ABC analysis. Based on the process stage, we knew that we have three type of inventory: material, raw material, work in process, and also the finished goods. For the volume and quantity, we have classification ABC analysis, class A, class B, and class C. And we can also classifying inventory based on the demand characteristic, which categorized into two type of demand: dependent demand and independent demand, where the independent demand is discussed about more on the technique or approach controlling the finished good inventory. And for dependent demand, discuss more on the work in process inventory and raw material that normally use a MRP system to support the planning and control of dependent demand inventory. So that is among the approach to classifying our inventory. to assist the organization and company do their planning and do their controlling activity to ensure the company have a effective of inventory management. And we already do the simulate or do the simulation on how to do the ABC analysis, classifying the item into class A, class B, class C, based on the quantity and also based on the total value of inventory. So, in our discussion on introduction of inventory management, it is overview for the whole topic that we will discuss more detail in next coming slide. So, bawa awal lagi 9:37, ingatkan dah habis. Kan? Okey. Macam mana? Kita nak teruskan ataupun kita nak sambung topik chapter 2 ataupun kita berhenti di sini saja dulu? Boleh kita teruskan? Ataupun kita nak berhenti? Okey. Macam ni. Exercise yang saya upload dalam online learning dah tengok ke belum?
Dah, Doktor.
Dah buat dah?
Dah, Doktor.
Okey. Baik, cuba kita tengok apa yang akan kita discuss pada chapter yang kedua. Mana mata saya ni tak apa nampak ni. Share file. Okay. Chapter 2. Okay. For the chapter 2 or topic 2 is about the independent inventory system. Independent inventory system. In this topic, we will discuss, especially we focus on the information needed for the for controlling the independent inventory or controlling the independent inventory. what kind of information, what kind of activities that we contribute to the effective of managing independent inventory. So half of the discussion in this topic will be focused on the forecast. How do we do the forecast? How do we do the forecast for the purpose of inventory planning? And the rest of the slide will be discussed on the uh, function or activity in the organization that we have numbers of department in the organization. So how this department do their function to contribute to the effectiveness of inventory management. So what is independent inventory system? Inventory item can be divided into two main type, independent demand and dependent demand item. Kan? Kalau kita tengok classification di dalam slide yang pertama tu, kita telah bincangkan inventory kita akan kelaskan berdasarkan sifat permintaannya, iaitu independent demand dan juga dependent demand. Kita juga telah nyatakan di situ untuk independent demand, kebanyakan bentuk kawalan inventory adalah tertumpu kepada finish goods, untuk finish goods. Dan dependent demand banyak tertumpu kepada pengawalan inventory bahan mentah dan komponen-komponen yang akan digunakan dalam proses pembuatan untuk menghasilkan produk yang siap, kan? Baik. Characteristic of demand, independent demand and dependent demand. So in the independent demand, inventory have a characteristic of continuous demand from customer. And for the dependent demand, the characteristic of demand is discrete. The characteristic of demand is discrete. Apa beza antara continuous dan discrete ni? Kalau kita tengok di situ daripada gambar aja yang diberikan, permintaan yang berterusan, maksudnya setiap masa akan wujud permintaan daripada customer, kan, untuk setiap item tersebut. Tetapi untuk sifat permintaan yang diskret, maksudnya ada masa tertentu permintaan tidak wujud bagi item ataupun komponen tertentu. Jadi kebanyakan sifat yang ada produk item inventory yang mempunyai continuous demand ni adalah pada finish goods. Manakala untuk discrete demand, kebanyakan item yang ada adalah pada raw material ataupun komponen, kan? So for the characteristic of continuous demand, normally we can found in the finished goods inventory, and for the discrete demand characteristic, we can found this example of the item in the raw material or component of item. So for the dependent demand for item used to produce the final product. For example, tire store at the Goodyear plant are example of dependent demand. And for the independent demand for item used by external customer. For example, cars, appliances, computers, house are example of independent demand inventory. So if we view based on the product structure tree, Ingat tak lagi product structure tree? Farah, ingat tak lagi product structure tree? Kita belajar kat mana ni? Masa dulu. Masa production operation management. Product structure tree. Di bawah topik apa? Farah? Sheila? Ingat tak?
Ingat doktor.
Tak ingat juga? Bau.
MRP kan doktor?
Ya, betul. Ain. Nurul Ain. Kita belajar di bawah topik MRP system. Kan? MRP system. Di masa production operation management. Kita belajar MRP system yang mana untuk kita develop MRP system, kita perlu ada product structure tree. Kan? Kita perlu develop juga product structure tree untuk faham dia punya relationship between komponen yang ada. So, product structure tree we have already learned in the production operation management under the topic of MRP system. In order to do the planning for the item, we need to develop the product structure tree to understand the relationship between component and the parent item here. So, in this structure tree, the A item is the independent demand, or A item also can be called as finished goods or the parent item in the product structure tree. Term yang biasa kita gunakan kan untuk product structure tree, item A ni sama ada kita sebut sebagai finished goods ataupun kita sebut sebagai parent item. Kan? Untuk dependent demand, item-item yang kat bawah ni sama ada kita sebut sebagai sub-assembly, component, raw material ataupun dalam bahasa organisasi ataupun company kan, biasanya disebut sebagai CHI component. Sebagai CHI component. Baik. Kenapa kita perlu? Why we need to understand the characteristic of demand for each of the item? Why? Because based on the characteristic of demand, we can understand the fluctuation of the demand from the customer. For example, for the independent demand, for the item under independent demand, normally the demand from customer is uncertain. Kita tak pasti. Kalau finish goods ni, permintaan daripada customer, kita tidak pasti berapa banyak. No, kita tak tahu. Kan? Tapi for the dependent demand, the order from customer is normally certainty. Maksudnya di sini kita tahu dengan pasti berapa banyak yang dipesan ataupun dikehendaki oleh customer untuk dependent demand. Jadi antara independent demand dan dependent demand ada pro dan cons untuk kita mengurus dan mengawal inventory dengan lebih baik. Independent demand inventory system rely on several type of information for inventory control. Within an organization, there are two major flow, material and information. Baik, di dalam mengurus independent demand inventory system, maklumat adalah salah satu elemen yang sangat penting untuk memastikan pengurusan independent demand inventory tersebut berjalan dengan baik dan lancar. Dan antara maklumat yang sangat penting kepada independent demand adalah forecast. Among the important information for the managing and controlling the independent demand is forecast. Information from forecasting can provide one of the main input to independent demand inventory system. And all plans, decision in organization in which based on the forecast become effective at some point in the future. It is critical for organization to obtain a reliable information from the forecast, and the information will be used by the company as foundation in crafting the business and production strategy. Jadi kita tengok di situ peranan forecast ni sangat penting kan, sangat kritikal kepada organisasi sebab organisasi akan bergantung pada maklumat forecast tersebut untuk membangunkan ataupun membentuk dia punya strategi-strategi perniagaan kan. Forecast bukan hanya kita gunakan untuk forecast permintaan daripada customer. Forecast ni banyak kan kelebihan dia penggunaan dia. Kita buat forecast juga untuk tujuan untuk business growing kan. Business grow kan. Jadi kita juga akan buat forecast tentang penggunaan teknologi. Jadi banyaklah penggunaan forecast. Jadi kita tahu salah satu peranan forecast ni juga adalah untuk di dalam urusan inventory. Baik, saya rasa sampai di sini saja dahululah. Nanti kita sambung berkaitan dengan forecast. Okay, we're going to finish our discussion on the forecast for the independent inventory system. So we will continue our class